Hey, what's up, guys? This is Khaliq Glover, also known as Khaliq-O-Vision, and I am back doing a hangout today. And I wanted to get with you guys and do. I'm kind of excited because I got a real nice little gift today, and so I just wanted to share with you. This is going to be a short one because this was kind of an unscheduled hangout. You know, I got some emails from some folks, and they wanted me to get on and do something. And plus, this came up earlier today where I got a nice little gift that I'm going to share with you guys and do my little unboxing. First of all, I got to grab this thing and get it plugged in properly because it's not plugged all the way in. Okay, excuse me, folks. Anyway, I got a lot of people out there are always asking me about things like monitors and headphones and amplifiers, passive versus active, things like that. Well, we've discussed all of that kind of stuff on previous hangouts, and we're going to continue to always try to keep you updated and everything. But what I wanted to do today is show you, I've talked previously about some of the headphone solutions that I use. You guys know that I have a combination because I think that it never takes only one tool. You have to have several things, just like we usually have to have several monitors. So I've got some pretty big monitors up here, not big, huge studio monitors, but decent midfield size monitors with a big woofer and stuff like that, and to get closer to an accurate sound that I want. Then I've got all the way down to some small speakers down to like, for example, I have Dave's Ref Tones, because that can take me closer to the real world, smaller drivers and everything, so I can see and check where my mid-range is and things like that. So for different things. Then I even have other brands of speakers that I check on. Still go back to the good old NS10s and all that, although there are plenty of alternatives out there and your ears can get used to anything. I like just having and checking on different things. Then I like even importing my stuff and being able to check back on my laptop speakers or even the iPhone and stuff like that. All of these things will kind of give you a good idea of how your stuff is going to translate in any scenario. And when you come up with a balanced mix of what you're doing, then that works in all situations. But what I wanted to talk about today is I got a nice, neat little toy, and it's really cool. I got it right here, and it is the MoFi from Blue Microphone. These are the new headphones, and we just pull this on out of this bag here, and I'd had a chance, the bag and the box has been open. I had a chance to just toy around with it very quickly, but I knew I was getting on this hangout. But look at this. First of all, just the packaging is great. Massive packaging, lots of information. As you can see, this is so pretty. Ain't that pretty, y'all? I love it. But check it out, because I'm gonna do the unboxing here and take this thing up, because I've been excited to get these. And look at these suckers. Just look at that. Look at that. I love it. Let me tell you something. First of all, the way they package these things and everything. But this thing, first of all, look, it's space age looking, so and there's a reason for that, because they actually designed some of these components after things that happen on race cars. Okay. It's really very, very cool. First of all, these headphones, it looks kind of weird. It's like, who's got a big square head like this? Well, no, that's not how it works. It's got these spring systems here that'll allow it to fit to your head and everything, get on and be very comfortable, very snug. These are closed over the ear, and it's got a little knob here. You see that? So you can kind of adjust what the tightness is going to be on the top of your head and make this looser or tighter so it'll fit, according to what works for you and your head shape and head type. Also, these babies, you look at this and I thought these were plastic, but this is actually aluminum. These are made out of aluminum. They're hard, as a rock, as far as just sturdy, well built, everything. Nothing flimsy, nothing gonna snap off and break. These things are really put together well. And I mean, it really looks like I said, they're kind of modeled after things that happen in race cars and everything. So these things can change and adjust and fit your head in different ways. You can change some of these things. These cups here that they got here are pretty amazing because it's a closed system, so it's not open. And so it really focuses the sound directly in. It's got a lot of frequency response and a wide range, so that it can really give you a good representation of what music is sounding like, because it has actual amplification and DSP built into the headphone. So really the first of its kind to do this kind of thing. And I haven't had, like I said, I just got these today, so I haven't had a chance to fully put them through the paces. I put them on and listened to a little bit of music. I got to tell you, music sounds amazing coming through these. I'm going to do a much fuller test and come back to you guys with this after I put this through the paces, because I want to compare it, because I've got my little beats here to check out stuff that I want to check out the low end and see what kind of hype that people are going to get and things like that. I call those are kind of my real world headphones, what the average person might have. So I want to hear what they're having. Then I've got my Sennheiser HD 650s, which are another great headphone, a little more accurate. They don't hype up things as much, so you can kind of trust what you're hearing on them, And then I've got these, and from what I've heard, these are going to be something, a lot of guys are mixing with these now, getting hip to them and mixing to them, because it has a little bit more. But here's something else that it has on here. This has there's a little dial here. You can dial in your responses. So this can go from being passive, these are amplified, like I told you. So these are like your power monitors and everything right here on your head. But you can disengage that and go to passive strictly. So because these have like a rechargeable battery. It's these are power. Well, how do they get the power? Well, there's rechargeable batteries in here. You plug it in and everything. They got a little USB cable and a charger and everything. You plug it in. The charge, from what I understand, lasts about 8 hours, which should be plenty for anybody to do most serious work. And I want to pull this out too. It's got serious little bag here that's very well made, nothing flimsy. It's like a, I don't know. I don't think it's leather, but some kind of leatherette type of thing. But it's really cool and sturdy to protect these. It's really soft feeling and everything. Good size, and then it's got the cabling in here and everything. In the cables, it's got a couple of different cables to do some different things, and adapters, so you can get on. You can charge, you can adapt. All kinds of little stuff here. What you can do is this comes off and you can put that on or adapt it for 1/4-inch headphones or 1/8 inch. This also has, it's really cool, they were so smart, this has three different rings on here. So that means that there's a microphone that you can use with this for, like with the iPhone or something like that. You can plug this in and use this with your iPhone. They got 2 different cables here, I believe. I got to look at it. I think it's this one here. Yeah, this little part here. See, it's just like the kind of cable that you get with your iPhone, where you can. Oh, that's my boy Dave. He's coming on. Hold on for a second, guys, and I'll continue. Dave, what's up?
Hey, what's happening, man? Are you on?
Yeah, I'm on. I'm on right now. Say hi to the folks. I got you on speakerphone.
Oh, hey, I must be on the wrong thing. Oh, let me hear. Okay, I was on the wrong thing.
Yeah. I sent you an invite, and I also sent you an email link. Okay. Yeah. So, just come on. Okay. I see you. Okay.
Cool. I'll be in here cooking while I'm.
Okay. Yeah. That's all good. It's all good. Well, Yeah, Dave, I was just telling him I'm doing and I'm gonna go ahead and mute you while you're cooking, okay? So
Yeah.
yeah, so just to continue and everything, these things are really cool. They're built like a tank, and they're just really space age kind of thing, you know. So even with the cabling, and Dave, just to let you know, I'm kind of going through my MoFis for these guys. So these things are space age, and they are really pretty amazing. As I was talking about before, we've got the cabling here, so you can plug them in normally and everything, and you may think, okay, well, what happens if my power dies or whatever? They got this little knob here, and you can just click it to passive, and it'll work like any other ordinary headphone. But the magic comes in when you click it here and put it on and use the built-in amplification system to really make it like this is like carrying your monitors right there on your head and everything. It's pretty amazing. And like I said, I'm gonna really put it through the paces with a lot of different things. But for the quick overview of listening to some stuff that I've heard and everything, these things floored me, you know. And so I'm going to be, like I said, I'll be stacking them up against they all bring different things, but how they compare to the beats, what the beats add as far as, you know, the hype and things like that. That's what real world people are getting with. This to me is going to give you more like hi-fi, closer to something that you can use and trust that it'll translate, you know. And then, like I said, with these Sennheiser 650s here, I use these when I'm doing, you know, I need mastering quality things that aren't hyped and, you know, totally unvarnished sound that I can do and trust what I need to do because I know it's not adding or subtracting. It's kind of giving me what is there, you know. And I think this one has the option too. It has the ability. It's a 3-position switch, so it can enhance and hype too a little bit, but it's not as much as say something like the Beats or some of the other ones, you know. So it's a different kind of thing, and you got to really kind of get used to what it is because they all serve their own purpose. I don't think there's any one tool that does it all, covers it all. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, you know, because some people can't stand using Beats, for example. I ain't got no problem with them. I like them. I listen and understand what they're doing, so I know what I'm listening for when I listen to them. I know what they're adding. I know what they're missing, all that. So I'm listening, and I listen to certain types of music on those headphones to give me a real-world experience for what I'm trying to do. It's going to be close. But then, like I said, I use my Sennheisers when I want to go for things and I want to do some real critical listening and know that stuff is not hyped in through the range that I need to check because I'm trying to get closer to things that are going to be in final mix and mastering. Although I still go between the two because one has something that the other one doesn't have, and it reveals things to me in different spaces. This one, I'm not used to them yet. I just got them, like I said, today. So I'm going to go through them and put them through the same test and put them through this, and then this way I'll go just like it's no different than when you go through and you have multiple monitors. You know, I got my big monitors up here in front of me, and I've got Dave's Reftones in front of me. I've got, you know, NS10s. I've still got Aratones. I've got the Avatones. I've got a boom box over there. I've got my computer speakers through my MacBook Pro. I use those to reference, and even my iPhone and iPad. I send the stuff to all the things to be sure that no matter what the experience is, it's going to work and translate. So these are going to be another great tool to add, you know. But I really love that these things are just built like a tank, man. You know, I mean, and see, you know, they were, like I said, they modeled it after being able to get into a race car. So I mean, you can adjust these and move these things up and down and around and about and just really get them tailored to the way you want. And like I said, when you dial this little thing in, you can just make it tuck onto your head just right without it crushing your brain. Feel like you're getting your brain crushed, you know. They are the one thing I'll say that I have noticed, and I have to see, I haven't had a chance to work with them for long hours. So how they feel after, you know, working all day or whatever. Although I wouldn't have headphones on all day anyway, you know. But there are some people that's how they work. So I'm going to try to, I'm going to try to see how they represent for you people that are working here. This is what you have. This is your monitor, and you want to work all day. See how comfortable they are. Do they start driving you crazy after a while, you know? things like they seem to think out all the things because they wanted to make sure that these pads and cushions on here are very comfortable. Make sure that they don't have a problem with disintegrating through sweat too much. You know, I mean, of course, you're going to have to keep them, you know, clean and things like that and dry. You know, if you just abuse them and like anything else, it's going to break down. But in general, if you take care of these, they should last a lifetime. Like I said, they're built like a tank, so solid, man. And the main thing is just getting down to the sound. And this is, you know, this is a heck of a company. I love this company. Everything they build and everything they make has a sense of pride that goes beyond just, you know, what you would think about as this is my business. I'm a manufacturer and things like this. You know, they build stuff more like this is my project, you know. So just like our music is our projects, our babies and everything, seems like when they come up with stuff like this, I mean, they just go all out. So I really like this company, you know. And it's I can't wait to put this through the paces just so that you guys can, you know, just go decide whether this is going to work for you. The pricing, from what I understand, is very competitive as well. You know, these are not, you know, cheap, you know, $100 mic headphones or anything like that. You know, they're gonna cost you a couple $100. You probably have to look around $200-300. I forget what it is. I think it's like around 300. But that's not out of place with what everything else is that's out there as well. And like I said, because this is powered, you know, it's like having powered monitors placed right on your ears, you know, and so there's a value in that. You know, they went the extra mile. This type of thing has not been available before like this, you know, so I urge you to take, you know, just take these blues for a spin. Go into a store and check them out and see if you like what they're doing. And I really like what I've heard so far. I'm gonna report back again and also tell you any cons or negatives. You know, here's some things I'm gonna be looking out for. You know, while they seem to have full range for me, what I want to do is be sure that, okay, make sure I don't hear any real, you know, dropped out dead spots that are missing, you know. We all know, like I love the Beats for different reasons, for different types of music, but if you listen to certain types of music on the Beats Pro headphones, you're going to hear a whole big scoop out of certain frequencies that you know are there and should be there. But if you're listening to the wrong type of music on those, you're going to get fooled, you know, and you're going to hear where the deficiency is in that type of a headphone, that you can't use it for everything and get an accurate result, you know. So I want to see if these have any of that same kind of a bump in there. I want to see if they extend up higher. And I'm going to go ahead and mute you, Joe, for a second. When you're ready to talk, you can unmute. You know, I want to listen to see, like I said, the low end from what I was checking on sounded very cool. Wasn't quite as additive as, say, you know, like they do on the Beats where they extra enhance it. But they have an enhanced mode. Like I said, it's based on this little knob depending on where you set things. And sometimes you want that, sometimes you won't. You know, a lot of people probably will like it just for the hype factor. You know, this type of headphone, from what I understand, and I can actually see it too, because for things, people like drummers and vocalists especially, who usually like to hear their music very loud in their head, to hear their sound loud but still isolated. A drummer needs to be able to have something real isolated like this to separate out the room from what they're hearing in the room from the loudness of just the nature of a drum kit, and have it more in their head, and then they still usually need to have more volume just to get above that room loudness. Something like this isolates you real good, you know, and I think this would end up being very popular with them. Vocalists usually like to hear, you know, the mom syndrome. They got the mom, M-O-M, more of me syndrome. So these, I think, would probably provide that as well, while still giving a good solid foundation of music surrounding and cushioning them, you know. I'm going to toy with some of these things and really see how it comes. I want to see how, for a mixer, you know, where do things sit naturally, and then when you take them off, like, you know, and I usually don't like, you know, I'm not bashing any company, but I do have a strong opinion because I used to have these monitors by Genelec you know, that everybody had, and I got convinced to buy them and everything. Great sounding monitors, but for me, they ended up being great sounding monitors more for playing back as opposed to me actually mixing. They almost sounded too good when you're mixing, and then when you take them out, things just weren't working the same. Plus, you couldn't push them in certain areas the way you wanted. And so I ended up getting rid of those and getting to something that worked more for me. It's just my own personal opinion. I'm not alone on that because some people felt that same thing. So what I want to do is be sure that these have that type of thing too. They may sound really great on your head and you think you're getting what you want. Then when you rely on things you're hearing on these, and if you go away, and then you start realizing that, oh wait, I was overhyped because I don't have as much as I thought. So I want to listen and see if there's any of those traps like that too, you know, because you know, Blue told me to check these out and tell them exactly what my thing is, good and the bad. You know, the good, bad, and the ugly. I'm gonna give it all, and I'm give it all to you guys, so you can make a decision for yourself. It's just gonna be my experience, you know. So I'm already impressed. I'm already really excited and hyped about having these, and the importance of having headphones. You know, a lot of guys that are doing remixes and doing things like that where they're on the move and they do a lot of work on their laptops and everything. You want to know that you've got something that can travel with you that'll give you reliable results. And I think something like these can definitely do it. I think they can definitely put you on the right track that can be trusted to translate when you don't have other alternatives with you. You know, you just got to put in time with them, I'm sure, like any other monitors, and get used to what they're doing and know what you're hearing. But I think, if anything, to me, these can really be the future of what's going on. So that's what I wanted to say with that. I was very, very happy. And, you know, I got my boy Dave on here because Dave has a close relationship as well. You know, Dave, are you still muted, or can you unmute for a second?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey man, what's up? What's up? So you see, I got my little babies here. I know you already had.
No, I got mine over here on the table.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah,
like we got to talk to the folks about them and everything, you know, because you know, we got there's new sheriff in town.
Yeah, man. It's it's funny. I just talked to a good friend of ours named Scotty Baldwin. He's a front of house engineer. And he was out here, and I had my pair that I had gotten, and had him listen to it. He said, man, I got to get some of these. So he just called me from Vegas, where he just did a show, and he's been using them to not only mix, but to go over his material at night when he finishes the show. And he said, man, these things are great. He said, you know, they don't fatigue me. Again, the same thing with the pinching. Because he's a front of house engineer, and he's the kind that watches the show. He doesn't wear headphones and spend all night mixing the board tape.
Yeah.
But he wants to be able to hear it when he needs to, and then he needs to be able to drop it. So he likes the way that the cans don't pressure his head, and he likes the sound. You know, they did something really cool, which is they're paying attention to what's happening with audio. So you're going to see a lot more products like this where people will put preamps inside. They'll do stuff because this is it basically is taking something from the hi-fi world, but it kind of slipped it in on the pro level.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool thing because when you think about it, the nature of the content that people are building is so vast because everybody's using the different DAWs. Everybody has a different level of expertise, and a lot of times when we get material that's random, it's all over the place. We're used to using some of these other phones as well, but it helps to have a pair of phones that when you're listening to final product, no matter what it is, MP3, somebody's phone, any kind of reference, you've got that little extra thing you can put on there and boost it. Because a lot of times you guys have, you know, we've all been there. We've made our final pass, and then we go to play it back through a device, and it's extremely low.
Yeah.
And so you're like, man, why did that happen? You know, so either sometimes you'll put too much compression on those things. This headphone in particular allows you to hear all those accidental artifacts that happen because of production.
Yeah, yeah.
So I like it because of that too. You know.
Have you had a chance to use them out live on any gigs you've been doing lately?
I took them on a local gig live. I just did a overseas gig. I was too scared to take them. Because I didn't want anything to happen to him.
Yeah.
So If I had a second pair, I probably would feel braver. But this is you know, but that was my Father's Day present. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
I have to handle them with care.
Great care. Yeah, exactly. Stay in the studio. That's how mine is. They ain't going nowhere.
They ain't going nowhere. So, but they're great. They're great phones, and the products they're doing are really good. They're really thinking ahead. You know.
Yeah, they are. You know, I really like that.
There's not a lot of companies that are looking at what's coming around the corner, and they're not melding. You're going to see a lot more USB audio products.
Exactly.
If you ever want to get an idea of the things happening, take a look at the hi-fi world, because they have some very interesting devices that they use in the hi-fi world for extreme, pristine audio. Very interesting processing that they use. And we're going to start to see some of that from some of the companies.
Well, you know, we're so far behind in a lot of these things too, because I think it should be mandatory for anybody that calls themselves serious about being in this business that you go to CES, which is the Consumer Electronics Show, at least once in your life, just to kind of see how far ahead some folks are thinking and things that are existing right now that we don't get to way later.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah. And you know, that's the good thing about you know, just staying open to what's coming on the horizon, because it can really put you on the cutting edge before everybody gets wind of it, you know. Yeah, man, well, that's good. What you cooking, man? What you cooking?
I had to flip my fish, man. I'm not trying to ignore you. I'm just flipping my fish so it doesn't burn.
Yeah, I'm thinking about hanging up and taking a ride.
A lot of it, man. I'm doing fish.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
I really like it. I think there's a lot of products that I've been noticing that where people are really taking their time and doing stuff. I'm going to do one in a little bit that's going to cover some of the stuff that Waves is doing with the DigiGrid product line and some of that, because they're really merging all these areas where we've been dealing with problems with production and problems with just so many choices. I think we have an era that has brought us so many choices, so a lot of the companies are getting together now and they're designing products that aggregate all of your workflow. And it really makes sense now to not only merge workflow for studio guys, but to merge it for live guys who are recording those things, creating new studio work, to merge the use of plugins, to merge. There's a lot of things coming around the corner where I think it's going to be a big advantage for everybody. You know, it's going to probably be, and it'll relieve your pocketbook because you won't have to spend inordinate amounts of money just to stay current.
Yeah, you know? Right. Yeah, man, and you know something else too that I just thought about it, bro. Hey, man, when we gonna see a Reftone phone, Reftone headphones, the Reftones headphones.
The Reftone headphone. I don't know about that. I am working on a prototype of something new. Well, we've got some changes in the wind for Reftone, and I don't have those here. They're actually getting photographed now, but we have some new updates to it and some new packaging stuff. So it's going to be really exciting. And then I have prototypes of something that I've had on the books for a little while. So I've got 2 of those that will be surfacing. We'll probably have those on the show at some point, so people can see the next thing, which is, you know, it's going to be some type of midfield. But it will be, again, it'll be something that gives you what you need, and it'll be a good choice for everybody who's working inside their home, you know, or working in a small space. Doesn't have to be your home, but there's a lot of people working in small spaces now, you know.
Right. Yeah. Oh, man, I see we got Joe on here. I ain't seen Joe in a long time. Hey, Joe, man, your audio happening?
How are you guys doing? Doing okay?
Doing great. What's going on with you, man? Ain't seen you in a while.
Been busy.
Busy's a good thing, brother.
Speaking of the DigiGrid, that's what I got my mic plugged into right now. We just
got
we just got the iOS and iOS in about a week and a half ago.
How cool is that?
Cool. How do you like it?
I'm not having to turn around and mess with my rack as much, and I really enjoy that. Especially.
Yeah, can you write something on the site about that? I mean, you even put that we're on this call now, but you know, give them feedback, man, because that's the things that people need to hear. When you can take it into your environment, and it makes it so that you can save time and just have yourself focused on the music and not always whipping around.
Right. Well, I always had guys tell me, yeah, plugins are great to mix with, but who would ever want to track through them? Well, that was competitive companies' idea, track through these plugins. Well, there's not a lot of choice for creativity on some of those, and the Waves, you've got so much choice.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with here in the Plugin Alliance, which is another one of my favorite companies that's going to be coming online with them soon. Man,
Oh,
this
good,
stuff,
yeah.
Got great plugins.
Yeah,
man, and the latency is so super low. Ethernet it's the next thing when it comes to audio interfaces. I mean, USB, it can only go so far.
right.
Thunderbolt's really good, but Ethernet is twice as fast as Thunderbolt 2, actually.
Oh, cool, yeah.
So
Well, explain to us what you have hooked up right now. What is your new upgrade system? Kind of give
okay,
everybody a run.
I've got the IOX is the interface that I'm using. That's just the mic plug, and then I'm using the iOS as my DSP server. So my plugins basically run off of it, and I'm only using it for one room right now. We've not had it long enough to use it for both rooms yet, and get the whole thing set up. But it's just in the rack. It works really well. It's pristine and clean, and it's not like you get a lot of small, like, let's say, mobile interfaces like some of the other brands. They're really dark and kind of muddy in that low bottom end.
Yeah.
These just aren't. They're clean and super flat. There's no bump at like 300 or 400 that you don't want, that you always get with some preamps, and you don't have that really odd 5K, 3K bump that you get with some preamps. It's just super flat, super pristine. It makes me almost think of the like if you've ever worked on a J, you know what I mean, that sound of a J, that clean, super flat sound, like wire to wire sound.
Yeah.
And that's great, man, because if I want to add something to it, I'll do it later. You know what I mean? If I want to add some harmonic content, I can do that later.
Absolutely.
But the latency is just super low. I mean, they're the only other competitor that I've seen at that that does the tracking through plugins thing. I can hear a little latency after a while with their interfaces because I have two of them, and
Was that Universal Audio or one?
Yeah, I've got two of the Apollo 16s.
Right.
And I've noticed once you start packing on, say, a compressor and EQ and then another compressor, just, you start hearing a little bit, or I can, the artists don't, but I do.
Right.
With this DigiGrid, I have yet to hear any latency problems, period.
Wow. And on the recording side of it, have you ever looked at the waveforms to see, be sure everything is in correlation and lined up properly? No funny business happening on how it's actually getting in there.
Yeah. It's one of those things that if you start pushing, those 16s, they're hooked together, and I haven't updated to the Thunderbolt card either. Okay, so that could be part of the problem. But I really dig this DigiGrid thing. Paul Severinsen kind of turned me on to it. He's a dealer in I think Northern California.
Oh, okay.
And I really, it's kind of like I didn't really understand it, but I seen the commercials on online on YouTube and whatnot, and I thought that's pretty neat. I use Waves every day. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I got him to just basically sit down and explain what everything does and how what it would do for me, and I jumped on it as soon as it came out. I had been looking at one of just the little servers as an outside way just to run plugins during mixing, but I really enjoyed this interface, and the server is unreal. I mean, it's basically just a little Intel Linux computer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a powerhouse. It's rated for like 2,200 of the SSL channel strips or something. I mean, off the wall number. You know what I mean? Like something you could never even get to. So, I mean, you get limited with the competition pretty quick. Sometimes if you use some of their heavier plugins, I have yet to get this thing to give me your full on DSP message.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's cool. Well, that's kind of why I'm asking you some of these questions too, to be a proxy for all of us, because I'm in the same way. I haven't upgraded to a lot of the newer stuff. I'm still using a lot of things like that, but I'm so interested. Been seeing the commercial, videos or promotional videos and stuff like that. And I'm like, wow, that seems really interesting. I'm like, oh God, I got to spend some more money, you know. But it's the way. I mean, that's part of the game. So.
Right. Well, I mean the IOX, it's you got 12 preamps and then you got 6 outputs on it, and it does really well. I mean, I haven't had any dropouts, and it's so great because it's not like Avid hardware. If you get a hold of Avid hardware and that Avid hardware decides to just stop, it's a complete reboot. You know what I mean? To get that to come back up. Not this stuff. You just flip it off, turn it back on. It's back on without having to do a reboot.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's Focusrite and them is the only two I've ever seen that you could just flip them off, flip them back on, and keep going. And,
how cool is that? Yeah,
that's really handy.
Now that being brought up, how often have you had that happen? Does it seem to be pretty stable?
Yeah, one time when I first, let's see, the second day we had it, I ran it for probably 13 hours or 14 hours straight, and we were just playing with it, seeing what we could push it to do, and it kind of stopped, you know what I mean, and gave me an error message. I probably had 50 plugins running on the server.
Brought it to his knees.
No, I mean that's not even. Today.
Oh yeah. You said you're 2200 or something.
Yeah, today alone, I haven't used a native Waves plugin since I got these. Yet.
Wow.
And but I think it got too hot. You know what I mean? It's got an i7 and it's an Ivy Bridge i7. It's not.
So I forgot where you're at. Where you located?
Kentucky.
You're in Kentucky. Okay. Is it starting to get hot there?
Yeah. And I think it just got warm where I had it placed in the rack, and all I did was I reached back, flipped it off, flipped it back on, and most of the time you don't get anything. You got to reboot the program, the whole 9 yards. Basically, I turned it off, turned it back on. Logic recognized it. All the plugins went from having their little question mark on them to back online, and no problem.
Sweet. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Now, so this now explain to me how this is. Explain to me the connectivity of this whole system.
It's just Ethernet to Ethernet. Okay, so if you're on a MacBook or something that doesn't have an Ethernet jack, you use a Thunderbolt to Ethernet cable. Basically, you take the Mac Pre, take an Ethernet cable. It's got to be a reversible Ethernet cable. It can't be an end-to-end. It has to be an end-to-out. Okay, kind of like you would with Reaper's Remote. You come in from the preamp into the server into the computer, and it works great. You know, it's one less big tangle of cords you got to have too, which is great for me. You don't have some big, LRs on it that aren't hooked up.
Right. Oh, that's cool. And is it going to be is that pretty portable for you too? If you have to do some quick get up and do some stuff and make it happen, or is it pretty locked in as far as the size and
the 12 by 6 is a 1 unit rack. Well, it just
we may have lost you, Joe.
The server is 2 racks.
We're losing your audio, Joe. I don't know. Dave, can you still hear him? I don't hear anything. You're popping in and out on me, Joe.
Sorry, a second.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. Basically, the 12-in 6-out is a 1 unit rack space, and the server is a 2 unit rack space. It's relatively small, and it's not heavy. I mean, it's not a super heavy piece of gear. It's built well. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's not built like really super cheap or anything. It's built. Okay, I'll tell you what. The single rack space preamp is probably as heavy as a DBX compressor, and
Okay.
built along those lines. They're 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 heavy duty built, and they can they're not they're
Yeah.
portable as anything else.
Yeah.
Now the server's got some weight to it, but I mean nothing you couldn't throw it in a Mac Mini in a bag or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They do well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, you can definitely do some damage with a quick portable setup and not break your back or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
well,
it. I like it because
yeah, we got
a lot of clients, they're stumped about purchasing Avid hardware, like because Avid made so many changes from DigiDesign and all this. Everybody always used to get stuck and go, I don't want to get any more hardware. I don't want to get any more hardware. And this box allows you to now make that choice and still be able to work.
Yeah.
Because you can actually use it because you're using Ethernet. You're using it as an interface.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very cool. Yeah.
I bought the iOS over the DLS just because I use other DAWs besides Pro Tools, and the hookup is just if I want to take my Mac Mini and go with main stage and go play live or do a live show sound for a festival, it's just a lot simpler than dragging an extra along with me. And what this does, this brings the other DAWs into competition with the HD systems of Pro Tools. So if you're in Logic and you're stuck on a lot of native latency with using a lot of plugins on big mixes, and you're looking at Pro Tools HD and think, man, that's a lot of money, you can just go with something like this and not have to go down that Avid, road.
The rabbit hole.
But it's not looking so well after that update the other day.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So then what kind of basic investment should somebody be looking at, do you think, for this type of thing?
Well, you got to have the server. You got to have a server to run the plugins. But the interface, it just seemed like the logical idea to have the interface. I hardly ever use more than probably 12 inputs at a time,
Yeah.
And so 12 inputs, that was enough for me. 6 outputs, that's usually enough headphone mixes for anybody.
Yeah.
And so it worked out really well. I don't have to turn my console on, so it's saving on the power bill.
Big time, huh?
Yeah, man. This old Midas console is getting, it's got a couple power supplies with it. We'll put it that way. And it's just, it just seemed like a logical thing. I was really looking. I have an HD system here in the other room, and that thing has been nothing but a money pit. I mean, it really has. Over the past few years. Now, when I first got into it, not so much. But here, once they moved to HDX cards, and I mean, you're not like me. I didn't have a clue about HD. When I first got into this, I was like, okay, what do I really need? Well, there's no explanations on the internet.
Right.
None. I mean, nobody gives you an explanation of what you need to even start with an HD system. How to even go down that road. I probably went down $13,000 down this road before I really figured out what I was doing.
Yeah. You probably could have saved half of that, huh?
Yeah.
Upgrade path is always a big thing people should consider when buying gear. It's like, what's the upgrade path? What's the cost of doing business? When I get involved at a inbox level, and then I'm starting to work, and I'm going to make that big step. Do I go to a native system? Do I go,
Right.
And those are all the upgrade paths. They had so many options, I think the market got confused sometimes.
Well, there was no explanation of what you exactly needed to have an HD system. Yeah. I mean, do I need a card? Do I need 3 cards? What's the card I got to buy? Well, do I have to buy your interface? Do I need, what do I need? There's no explanation on even their site that says, okay, to have the optimal HD system to just run your mixer, you need 1 card and this interface. You know what I mean? Right. If you want to have more DSP power, you can add up to 2 more cards. There's none of that being told on the net. And it's like, okay, what's the difference between HD and HD native? Nobody knows, you know what I mean? Not unless you own it. I mean, and if you can go visit a studio that has an HD system and look at it, that's great. But that wasn't even a remote possibility for me. You know what I mean? It's a 6-hour drive to Nashville. So it's like, okay, you know. So I'm probably the only guy in the eastern part of this state that even has an HD system. And it's, yeah, there's not even another studio around me for 100 miles. It's great for, you know, competition.
That's great for you. Yeah.
Yeah. But this solves everything. It's got, they also have, you know, the DLS and the other one, I can't think of its name right offhand, but has the HD hookups. So you can bypass the Avid hardware. You can bypass having the Omni or whatever, you know, your Avid interface is. You don't have to have that with the new DigiGrid system. And if they get more people on board, man, it's really going to be a way for people to say, okay, HD was great because of low latency, and that's why it was the standard. Now we don't have to deal with that, you know, world. We can use whatever we like and have that same power that you have with an HD system, and I think that's a great thing for, you know, a lot of guys, especially a lot of guys that use like convoluted systems like the remote Reaper setup where they've got like 3 computers tangled together, you know what I mean, with Ethernet to run their plugins off one and keep their latency low on the other, and you know, and things like that. That was your only option to have like a poor man's HD system before now. Wow. But the DigiGrid system is really, really cool. I really enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, cool, man, cool. That's very helpful and informative. I've been thinking and wondering about what's going to be the next investments to make, and you know what, like you said, there's not a lot that'll keep you on point. So sometimes you have to just kind of put things together and make a guess. So this seems to be a lot more cohesive as far as here's what you need, and build it out easily from there.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, and here's the thing, Ethernet's always going to be there. There's not going to really be a replacement for Ethernet. There always will be, like FireWire to Thunderbolt. There will be a replacement for Thunderbolt soon. Yeah. There will be a slot that's PCI straight, you know, eventually. Then there'll be a replacement for that. But you still got to have Ethernet to have that connectivity. Unless your computer doesn't, if you got Ethernet on your computer and it's not gigabit Ethernet, you're not going to get the performance that you would get with gigabit Ethernet on the DigiGrid system.
Right.
But you know, any computer built in the last 5 years is gigabit Ethernet.
Anyway. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Are you on a PC or a Mac?
Mac.
Okay. Yeah. Huh? Smart man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Funny story. Yeah, funny story about that. First time I went to Full Sail, this tells you how backwoods I am, okay? I get down there, and the guy giving me my interview has a MacBook in front of him, and he's like, come here, I want to show you something. He's going to show me Logic, right?
Right.
And he shows me Logic, and I look at him, and I said, what version of Windows is this? Because I've never seen this, you know?
You look at you.
So, you know. But what headphones were you talking about a minute ago, Khaliq? I come halfway in.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I got my new little toys. These are the blue MoFis. Have you seen these?
No, I haven't.
Man, these are really interesting. Big space age. They look like rocket ships or something, man.
Oh, is that from Blue that makes the microphones?
Yeah, Blue that makes the microphones. These are powered, so they've got amplifiers built in here, and they are they charge with it's got rechargeable batteries in here and everything. You hook it up via USB and get you about 8 hours and everything. It's got a switch on here where you 3-position switch, so you can go from passive. You can plug it in passive, or if you turn it on, their internal amplifiers on here. But if say your battery's out, you can always switch them to passive, and they're a normal headphone. You know, not as much level or whatever, but a normal headphone. These things are full range. They amplify, you know, like a monitor system, you know, biamp or triamp monitor system would. So it really gives you a truer representation of what's actually going on with your mix and everything. And then they've got another switch mode on here that has an enhanced mode, so that kind of hypes things up a little bit too, so you can kind of hear how that would add, you know, and come up with a good balance between what you're trying to do. It's really very cool. A lot of guys that are doing remixing and stuff like that, you know, guys that are getting these remix gigs are using these now to do work on the fly, you know, because they can't obviously be pinned in the studio and everything.
Right.
And the stuff I'm understanding is translating real well. I just got mine, so I haven't had a chance to put it through the full test, but I've been listening to some stuff. Sound amazing, man. They're pretty happening. So I'm looking forward to putting it through. Say that again, Dave.
Is it taking you to the moon, Khaliq?
Oh, man. Yeah, heck yeah. You see, man. And see, the interesting thing is they made these headphones are made out of, this is aluminum, so they're not plastic and flimsy. And, you know, they hug to your head, so they've got this little spring system here that makes it hug to your head, customizable. And they've got a little knob here, so you can adjust how tight it is and snug it is or how loose it is on your head so that you don't get fatigued and feel like, you know, somebody's putting you through a pressure test.
How much do those go for? Because I wear headphones all day.
Yeah, these are listing for $350, which is pretty standard in the general area. But I'm sure the street price will be less. You know, I would imagine on the street once they finally get these going, it's probably going to be around the same price as Beats Pros and stuff like that.
Well, that's not bad.
Remember too, for that price, you're getting something with a preamp built in.
Yeah, this has yeah. So much different, you know, definitely much different, and I think it's a game changer, man. You know, I'm really looking forward to putting these through the paces, you know, and just see what. But I still keep all my other ones too, as I explained to everybody, because it's just like monitors. Mm-hmm. You have more than one pair of monitors, you know, so you gotta have more than one pair of headphones. But knowing what these are seeming like they're going to be, this is going to be a good go-to to get everything right in the area. Then when I want to check and see how things are a little bit hyped or whatever, I'll go over to my Beats. And then when I want to see and check for mastering things, I'll go over to my Sennheiser HD 650s. And between the three of them, I'll know just what I've got. And, you know, then your regular monitors.
Are all those wireless?
No, they're all wired.
Okay. I didn't see any cables.
Yeah. The good thing is now they've gotten smart where they allow you to detach the cables. The cool thing about these headphones too, I mean, Blue, I was telling everybody earlier too, they've got you know, so they got all the standard things, but they've got they give you two different cables, and they give you this cable here, and you see this little fat part here. So if you notice on this end, this is 3 conductors on here as opposed to 2 for normal stereo. So that means this is for an iPhone or something like that. You can use your phone with these headphones. It's got a built-in little microphone.
Oh, so that's neat.
Yeah, so they kind of, you know, they thought of a lot of stuff, you know, with this. And, you know, I'm very impressed. And like I said, the sound, me listening to it, I was like, whoa, yeah, okay, these things sound pretty amazing. So I'm going to put them through the acid tests of listening to a lot of different stuff, because that's the key. You know, I just put on you listen through Spotify and all them and the iTunes store and just go through a bunch of different stuff and see, and it all sounded pretty good. But then I'm gonna go back through and listen to some of my old stuff that I know is really mastered well and has always sounded good, and see if it translates. Go through some new stuff. Go through some classical. Go through you know, different rock, metal, you know, all kinds of things, some real old school stuff, and see if it all translates the way I'm hoping that these are seeming like they will.
Let me ask you a question. On the cord, does it have the little microphone?
Yeah, that's what this is right
well,
you
could split that and run it as a talkback and be listening to what's going on in the room at the same time.
I like that, man. That's smart.
Think about that now.
Yeah.
Just push that as your talkback. Split it with some sort of, you know, splitter.
Yeah.
Have an input and an output, you know.
Great idea, man. Great idea, you know.
That's what happens in the backwoods when you can't get to a music store for 300,000 miles.
Yeah, man, definitely.
Are you still playing that old character, Joe? Come on.
Hey, I'm telling you, brother.
See, we know better now, man.
You got to fix that, man. You got to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Radio Shack is the only choice sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
They make splitters all day, Brad.
But Brad, I ain't seen you in a long while. How you been, man?
All right. It's just been tough to hook up, but when I do, I just enjoy it.
Oh,
so what are you guys up to tonight?
Man, we just got on here impromptu. I thought Bill was gonna be on here. He was the one that initiated saying, "Khaliq, are you gonna be on today and everything?" I was like, because originally I said I was just gonna do Sundays. So, but I don't know. Bill probably got tied up. He's out there having a cold one somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forgot all about us little peons.
I know. Living the good life, man. That's all right. That's all right. I was like, yeah, let me just get on and hang with my fellas. I haven't had a chance to see y'all in a while. I've been doing a lot of business events and stuff over the last few weeks. This is that time of year, so I've been going in and out of town a lot.
Yeah, you're taking on a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, trying to go to that next level, man. I wanna get to that same level, where they always talk about that life where you ain't got to do nothing. The suitcase, I'm like, I don't know that one yet, but it'd be nice to figure it out.
Yeah, well, be careful. That's a trap too.
Yeah. But I gotta say, yeah, I know a few people and have seen it, so I know that it's possible. And I'm like, okay, I ain't getting no younger, so I want a taste of that before I check out.
Got it.
Yeah.
Brad.
Yeah.
Hey,
Joe.
what kind of reverb do you have on right now? Because it just sounds clean.
Oh, I'm glad. It's just my this is my studio setup. This is what I do all day.
Yeah.
That's just the room reverb happening?
No. I've got a Alesis Multimix 8.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
It's just a built-in reverb, and I have a dead room. So what I'm doing here is simulating, because we're doing pre-production. I'm simulating my client's experience, so that when they go to you guys for tracking, that they're used to reverb in a dead room.
Oh, okay. It just sounds good over the internet, which is kind of
This is
like
the one,
shocking.
right?
You got it.
That's the reverb out of one of those little things?
Yeah,
Yep.
can you believe it?
No.
And
No.
sometimes I do have to be careful, Joe.
Let me tell you, that's the Swiss Army knife right there.
Yeah.
It is. So
Oh,
it's
all right.
that for real.
Okay.
Yeah, I tell you though, I do have to be careful with that reverb. Every once in a while, I find that it's people on the other side are like hearing it like I'm in a big tabernacle hall. So I and I don't hear it that way. So I have noticed that if I keep it a little bit down on my side, that that my Google Plus clients and so forth are not are getting just about the right sound.
Yeah.
I'd like to have it up a little bit myself.
Uh-huh.
It sounds clean over the internet, which is shocking because, everybody knows how Spotify and other streaming services and different streaming things just all effects sound really bad. Anything on sides sounds bad.
Yeah.
And that sounds clean, Brad.
I really appreciate it in this respect, I'll tell you, because I just spent, by the time I'm through, I'm going to be at least $1,500 into upgrading my studio with trying to do a better job with my Google clients and my local clients, and I'm going to have a camera in here running most of the time, so that if there's any magical moments, as you say, that I can go back and edit them and put them online for people to see.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great to hear that this feedback is highly unexpected. Thank you.
It just sounds super clean, man, and that's just really good. Most of the time you get this like digitally, I don't know, kind of weird sound over the net.
Yeah.
It just sounds really clean.
Well, I won't touch a thing.
But I'm surprised it's coming out of one of those. I was expecting you to go, yeah, it's one of these little, such and such boxes. They only cost a few thousand.
Yeah. No, that's
But
cost a few hundred. Yeah.
But that little I've got one of their little microverbs, and it does really well.
I used to use those all the time. There's a couple of final mixes that I have out there where I had them mixed in as well with some of the other ones. Microverb right beside an AMS and stuff like that.
Yep.
Well, I've always liked Alesis all throughout my years, and I started buying electric guitars and microphones and things like that when I was just a little teenager, 12-year-old, So it's been a good product. I know Alesis wasn't available in those particular days. That was Vox and things like that. But it's been a good company as far as I can tell. And they started off as just a little Southern California company, and now they're like some kind of a big corporation. They do all crazy stuff.
Dave used to go to school with the guy that started pretty much Alesis and Line 6 and all that.
Wow. Yeah, good people. Line 6 is great company, too.
One of our first little consoles was a big Alesis console. It was like 40 channels, 36 channels. It
Was
was
that the one with the faders that were like kind of flat? They slid on they were conductive something. I forget. Dave could tell you better. Was that the
The
one?
resistive faders, yeah.
Yeah. Is that
they
what the
weren't
one?
resistive of anything. You could flip them and they could go from 0 to 1 if you flipped them barely. You know, they could go from -100 to 0 very fast. You know.
Oh, okay.
That thing was built like a tank. I mean,
Yeah.
really.
Everything.
Yeah, back in the day, I gotta tell you, we have our little flashbacks, and
Yeah.
I still miss. Occasionally, I miss my little Mackie 32 that I had because I went back one day and listened to some tapes and stuff that I did. We're talking tapes, y'all. We've been way back in the day. But I listened back and I was like, man, that sounds pretty darn good.
It's not the equipment; it's how you use it, man. You know, that's nobody sees your play. This is a big thing. Nobody sees your equipment on that 2-track on the radio.
How about that? Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, basically I was just getting on here to do a little quick hangout and everything we got going, and I don't want to keep you guys too late, and you know, Bill, I don't know what happened to him. Like I said, he called me or texted me early this morning, and like he was ready to go, and so.
Well, that room that he's always in, you never know what's going on.
I know Bill. Yeah. He's getting his head rubbed somewhere.
I'm always waiting for the words from Star Wars to just start going up the screen when I see Bill.
He's got to go that way. He's got to know that.
It's no.
Yeah. Well, Bill, we miss you, man. We miss you. We wish we could live the good life like you, brother, but we got to stay in the trenches here. So we got to work and grow up and be like him, man.
We got to talk to each other.
Yeah. Yeah, Bill's talking to some women somewhere. He's getting his foot rubs, getting his forehead rubbed, and oils and all that stuff. I know what you're doing, man. We know.
He must be getting the grapes, too, then.
The grapes, all that, man. Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Well,
looks like Dave's taking care of his own grapes.
Yeah, Dave.
No, man. Yeah, I had to cook dinner.
Hooking it up.
I had to cook dinner.
Yeah. Dave was going Iron Chef on him tonight.
Yeah, sometimes you have to really mix, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
That's some great kid stuff you got there on the wall. This is cute.
Oh yeah, that's my wall of fame.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Hey guys, well I'm gonna wrap this up here too. Also, for you guys on here and anybody watching or whatever, and I ain't gonna get too deep into it, but I just need a little prayer of healing and support for somebody very close to me is having a little challenge with the health thing again. So I always like to get the power of prayer into it. So I'll find out some more as things go on, like tomorrow and over the next few days. So
for sure.
Just send out a little prayer out for my folks and my family.
For sure, man.
Appreciate it. Well, y'all take care. Huh?
Positive.
Positive. That's what's up. Energy makes a difference out here. I believe it. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, y'all have a.
What about Sunday, Khaliq? You know?
Yeah, I'm gonna be on Sunday unless something extraordinary happens.
I might have another piece of gear to show on Sunday too.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. We'll definitely be on. We're probably gonna go on about 2 p.m. I'm shooting for 2 p.m. That seems to work better for everybody.
All right.
I've got 2 to 3 open. So if I hop on at 2, then probably get something out of it.
It'd be perfect. Right. Perfect. 2 p.m. Pacific. Huh? Go ahead, Joe.
And if you want to do like a shootout of these converters, just holler at me and we can put them, put it and a couple other interfaces in a chain, and just use the same mic and plug into them and do check 1, 2 through them or whatever.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Online, and you can hear the difference between this DigiGrid versus say I've got Focusrites, I've got a UAD, one of those small follow twins, I've got Got the Behringer with the Midas preamps in it. I've got a couple others laying around here, Personas and a few others.
Oh,
so we
okay.
could do that. Put them all on an aggregate device and just pop into one on each.
That'd be real cool, man. Hey, man, you said you got the PreSonus preamp too?
Mm-hmm.
How do you like it?
I've got a Fire Studio. It does really well.
Oh, you got a Fire Studio? Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
I mean it's all the same preamp, either way.
Mhm.
They do really well. They've got really good bottom end, believe it or not.
Yeah,
You know
they
what
do.
I mean?
Yeah, they
Their
do.
bottom end is great for kick drums.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I always like that company. They always do a good job.
I love their digital boards.
Yeah, the boards. Yeah.
The new AI is amazing. Our sister band that we play with everywhere has one, and it's just I love when they're coming to the show because I don't have to bring my board and they bring theirs.
Yeah.
I just bring a USB key and plug it in and we're done.
Yeah, I've got to upgrade mine to AI. I still got the I've got the 24, the regular 24, not the AI.
Hey, they do great, man.
Yeah, time for an upgrade. Cool. All right, my man. Well, you take care, Joe, and I'll see you guys on Sunday then. Let's do it.
Okay.
See all you guys.
All right.
All right.
Take care.
See you, Dave.